Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Special. Happy Monday evening. Hope we're okay. Hope you're right. Hope the day has treated you well. Obviously, I don't normally do lives, I know, in the evenings, unless it's chance of season and what have you. But this is quite an important video that I want to sort of get my mitts on, because we're going to be talking about leaks from the dressing room, not in the way where you normally get them, which is basically, coming out against the manager and what have you. Actually coming out against the owners. We will talk about the January transfer plans. Obviously, having an idea as to that. We're going to talk about Ange having the full backing of the club. There's so much stuff to talk about again too. It's one of those weird ones. Really, this the last little while. Normally I'm like, all doom and gloom, and I guess this one feels a bit different. So let's jump in. Let's talk about it. Even all as well. Yeah. Let's actually start with this player leak. So BBC Sport, and I think we can all kind of work out who this is, by the way, but we're not going to say who it is in case we're wrong. It says that one player in the Tottenham dressing room whose identity is withheld to protect his position in the dressing room simply believes the squad lacks depth and that further investment is needed to push towards the top of the table. The players have given their support to Postecoglou on the record, and that positive feeling is being reflected in off-the-record conversations as well with the BBC. That is massive. That is absolutely massive. Let me just read that first bit again to you, okay? One Tottenham player, whose identity is withheld to protect his position in the dressing room. So that is that he is a member of prominence, okay? Simply believes the squad lacks depth and that further investment is needed to push towards the top of the table. My goodness me. We have had countless situations where you have, a handful of top players, right? Let's say just a handful, You think of, obviously, that Poch's era, right? Where we're fighting, people twerk about the Champions League final. God, we were awful away from home for that year. I actually always talk about the league form in the 2 or 3 years before that. That's where I talk about personally. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit different in that, but maybe fighting for the title was more of an impressive achievement in my eyes. But the thing that truly lacked was true investment. You've seen it with countless managers, lacking of true investment, and if they do get investment, it's because they've sold players. And that I always find ridiculous. And then we were promised, hey, new stadium means new revenue, which means we can spend so much more on players. Our wage bill is going to go up because of it, because we can do that. And we spent nowhere near what we should have done. Yeah, we might have spent more than what we did at White Hart Lane, but we've got a stadium nearly twice the size. We should be spending a lot more, but we aren't. Ange bought out, agreed. Saw a Spurs post of Ledley King's goal today, top 10 post, as well as furthermore below were #Levy out. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? The social media team obviously have a job to do, and their job is to farm interaction. It makes money. That's why, right? That's what when you've been on Twitter or Instagram, farming interaction drives money, right? Makes sense? Nothing crazy. I'm not digging in or out for that. But isn't it so funny how that sort of stuff always comes out the day after a loss? Take your mind off us losing at the weekend with, hey, look at this time where we used to be really good, or look at this player that you absolutely love, and all those sort of things. And it's boring. And you can spot it from a mile away. Even saying, how are you? That's Romero. Well, we'll talk about Jazz. We do need 3 players. Well, we need way more than 3, but I get your topic there. But wait, just hold off, Jazz. Just wait till we talk about January, because we can talk about it then. So that was obviously, like I said, that was the first bit of the same. But this is the next bit. The players have given their support to Postecoglou on the record, and that positive feeling is being reflected in off-the-record conversations as well. Look, he is a man that is liked by the squad. That's key, because I think a lot of people are like, they've down tools on him. I don't know why they think that. Bissouma's always been a bit iffy when it comes to diving in. Pape gave away countless fouls. Most games he does. That's part of his thing, is to get stuck in and try and win the ball. That's part of his game. So I don't think they're downing tools whatsoever. Now, I think at times they do, when it comes to tracking back, because they go, I just want to go forward. And, we're so used to having 60, 65% possession and things like that. But I wouldn't say they've downed tools, maybe. I think I have said it, but thinking about it, I don't think they have. I just don't think some of these players are good enough. There you go. There's that. Anyway, moving slightly on to basically Ange getting backing from the board. Dan Kilpatrick said that Ange's future is not up in the air despite Tottenham suffering a defeat at the hands of Chelsea. The Spurs board consider it business as usual this week as the team prepares for Thursday's visit to Rangers in the Europa League and Sunday's trip to Southampton, and remain committed to a long-term project under Postecoglou. That's good news. You know, a lot of people were worried he was getting sacked today. And, you know, for me, I was like, if he gets sacked today, it just shows a lack of real backbone, you know, and glad that there's no knee-jerk decision-making. And look, I don't care if you're Ange in, you're Ange out, you're Levy in, you Levy out. It's relevant for this, what I'm about to say next. For me, it was always about, can we not make knee-jerk reaction decisions, and can we actually think through what we're doing? Because we made so many stupid decisions over the last half decade, and we've gotten nowhere. We've had one Champions League season, and we were crap the following season into the Champions League. You know, can we focus on? Let's not think about just this second. Let's think about 6 months' time as well. And that's what I think the key thing is, especially when it comes to transfers. You should think like that with transfers. I'm glad we're thinking about it right now. But I'm sure if Romero wasn't injured, we could have seen Archie as side replacement and Berg for Biss. Hindsight. Well, that's the thing, Jazz. I think people that tell me all the time, I want to see Archie Gray in his position, it's getting a bit boring. I get it, but it's getting boring because actually, had Ange had centre halves and Ange had fullbacks, he would probably had featured at centre midfield. But because we haven't, and he's the only guy that can somewhat play those positions that are in certain squads, he has to play in those positions whilst other players play in central midfield, you know? Anything can happen at the board level, but Ange would never had agreed to terms unless it was a minimum 2-3 year project. Well, that's the thing. It's a rebuild. Ange agreed to a rebuild. And if you think a rebuild is commenced and finished in a year to 18 months, you play too much FIFA and you play too much Football Manager because you don't live in the real world. Simple as that. Those big teams that our fans seem to hype up took years to get anywhere near they were. Years. Even when they had a bit of success, they dropped. It takes time, you know. Just takes time. These things happen, you know. So anyway, let's move on because I don't want to spend all evening ruining your evening. We want to have some good stuff being chatted about. And again, Matt Law coming out saying the Spurs not planning to hit the panic button and are focused on doing everything in the club's power to help Ange Postecoglou and his players turn around the situation. Right, interesting. We are December 9th, okay? They want to do everything they can to turn it around. So, bear with me. Just going to bring my calendar up on my phone. Apologies. It's really rude of me. I know. So, January 1st is 3 weeks on Wednesday. Okay, that's when the transfer window opens. Let's call it 3 weeks, okay? In 3 weeks, the transfer window opens. Okay? So, in 3 weeks' time, you've talked about doing as much as you can to help this squad and these coaches to pick things up and turn it around. Then I expect to see a transfer deal and a transfer coming in quite quickly in January. Because if you're doing everything you can, we need to be having transfers done earlier on in January. If not, then I don't think you're really trying hard enough. We know all of us knew post that summer what we needed in January. Now, the irony to this is obviously, I don't think anyone truly expected us to think we needed a keeper, right? I didn't. It would have been nice, but it wasn't one of like my top concerns. I was always thinking a left back and a left centre back. Those were my two. Now, the irony to all that is I look at those two positions and go, we need both of them and we need that keeper. What are we doing with Spence? If we're moving Spence off, then we're going to need a right back. We're going to need a right winger maybe. All those things being considered, right? So the irony is they knew what they needed. Obviously, now they've added to that list, which is the pain of what we're going through. But they knew at least a few things. Then they must have been working on this months on end. You don't just, the transfer doesn't end. Johan Lang and Daniel Levy go and take 3 months off. No. You prep for January straight away, you know? I missed a few comments. Nice one, Bowser. Hi, Donna. How are you? News coming out has eased my anxiety about Spurs. Absolutely. Cootie is only echoing the thoughts of what the vast majority of Spurs supporters have been saying and thinking when it comes to bringing in a game-ready elite players. It's a horrible taker. Don't waste my time on game consoles. I have a high performance background and know a whole lot heap more about these panic mergers than about success. So can tell Andy didn't come out of Levy School of Business. Never see him say like and subscribe. So come on, old show. I appreciate it, Jazz Nab. When we're not doing well, I don't like to say for people to like and subscribe. It feels a bit weird. Although I did do it. I've already recorded the loan roundup, but I think I might have did it there. So apologies. I had someone tell me we should sell Madison and Vic in January and then bring in Vincent Company as head coach. These people live in a fantasy. Toby, don't listen to it. Toby with an absolute bloody super chat. Bloody legend, Toby. Toby Marks Dunn. What a name that is. TMD. My guy TMD. Love that. Appreciate it, Toby. Absolute bloody legend, mate. Absolute bloody legend. Let's see what happens come January then. Yeah. Actions speak louder than words. So you say that you want to back this group. You say you want to back this manager. Then there you go. In 3 weeks' time, I expect us to be absolutely at it. I don't want to hear about financial fair play. We don't have any financial fair play concerns. I don't want to hear that. Absolutely get at it in January. I'm not saying spend 300 million, by the way. But you could go and get a Dorgu, a keeper, and maybe another player for about 50 million, and it wouldn't be crazy. And you probably end up moving a couple of players anyway in January that you kind of go, that offsets a few quid anyway. Because I know they twerk about balance sheets. But in 3 weeks, you have more Van der Ven, Romero, and Benscourt. Yeah, it won't be long, but it's just painful, isn't it? But they'll use that. They'll use those players coming back as new signings. Oh, you've not had Mikey in months. It's like a new signing. It's like, oh my God, you're a problem. Not you, Jazz, but the people that say that. And higher ups might say that. We need a player, even if Spence isn't being moved off. I think if you're bringing in a player for right back, it means Spence is done. It does. I wouldn't mind. Look, I don't know if Spence is any good. I really don't. I saw good flashes in preseason, but preseason is one thing. The Premier League is another. Will he, when we think about bringing up Spurs fixtures, apologies, I know, awful of me. Obviously, he's not playing Thursday. That's Rangers. Southampton away. I could see him playing Southampton away. Or Porro being rotated, because I think quarterfinal of the EFL Cup for Spurs against Man United is the one that they'll be looking at going, even though there's not great money in it, they'll be looking at that going, I tell you what, semi-final EFL Cup, looking at, sorry, I just want to see who's actually left in this competition. Arsenal, Palace, Newcastle, Brentford, Southampton, Liverpool, Spurs, Man United. Some good teams still left, which is nice for once. Normally that competition's a bit rubbish, if I'm honest. Ange replay. What is the deal with Spence? I just don't think he rates him. Is there a chance of Levy actually leaving, though? The guy's still making millions every week. There's no protest, but the only way for him to leave is crazy money. How can you say not buying players early means we're not serious? You can't make deals happen faster unless you want to massively overpay and hurt future chances. I'm not saying it has to be January 1st, but if it's like January 28th and we sign our first player, I don't think they're truly going for it. They're not truly backing, is what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, if you are truly up for it and you're truly willing to back this group, don't be waiting until the last couple of days to then bring in a couple of players. That screams panic. Get someone in within the first couple of weeks, because then it will ease the fears of everyone. You'll buy a ton of goodwill, and half the time, an extra couple of million is worth that compared to the good. It's worth it for the goodwill. That's what some of those. I tell you what, the Glazers did it for ages. Man United fans kept getting sucked in by the Glazers, not spending money. The fans having an absolute fit, and then going and spending 80 million on a player buys you goodwill. And we don't have to spend that money to buy goodwill. I think people get sucked in easily, Romero's passion is unquestionable as why he's a legend. I've always said build around him. And if you're serious, you would. Won't matter what manager we have, we won't win SH1T. Fair enough. Demar. Jesus, Donna. Well, okay. Biss is out for Southampton, 5 yellows. Well, Biss will be probably playing against Rangers, don't you think? Play him against Rangers. If he's not playing at the weekend, play him against Rangers. I tell you what, I'd play him, Bentancur, and Bergvall. That's what I would do against Rangers and go, Madders, I love you. You'll be on the bench, but I need you fit for the weekend because I want you and Kulu ready to go at the weekend. Jono, Timo, all that stuff. But that's how I maybe would do it. I'll think about it tomorrow. I got my preview tomorrow to do it. 24 years and one common denominator. Ange's got 5 starting players. Some of them were not even his first choice. Heard we're looking to swap Richie for Tony. We're not going for Tony. Cardoso will be getting for the summer. Should Johan Lang take the blame for the lack of chances? Do we need Prati's still connected with the club? That hasn't changed. Johan Lang needs to take some blame, yeah. So does Levy. So does a lot of people. Thanks, Kieran. Kuti quote, hopefully the Tottenham hierarchy realize who the true responsible ones are. We move forward because it's a beautiful club. Well, there you go. Right, moving on. Because I want to talk about something else as well. Because I want to talk about Johan Lang. And fair enough, I think it was Jazz that said it because I can't look at my screen. Sky Sports News saying that Ange Postecoglou has met with Johan Lang to discuss potential chance of business in January that could help to improve Spurs' fortunes. Okay. Now, that's obviously another sign that he will not be moving. I think we all know he's not moving. He's not leaving. Looking and thinking about that, the fact that, he is going to be talking with Johan Lang, and I expect him and Johan Lang probably have not everyday conversations, but I probably think they converse here and there, right? It's probably somewhat reasonably frequently, right? I'm not saying they go for cups of tea every other day and have a mother's meeting, but they'll have a chat here and there, right? I would hope post the summer, the club knew what we needed come January transfer window. And then obviously since then, with obviously when you work with the players that you have and the situation that arises between September, October, November, and obviously now in December, that you kind of look at it and go, actually, I need this and this now as well. It wouldn't surprise me if Ange's like, look, I need 3 or 4 players in January, and they go, look, we'll get you maximum 3, but if we could only do 2, who is it going to be? I think that's what he'd be working with. Hence why, obviously, last week came up with quotes. He's talking about Reguilon, and he's talking about Spence, and talking about players that have barely played, if at all played. He's talking about how the squad's not good enough. And I think that wouldn't surprise me if conversations had where he's like, I need 3 or 4. He's like, I don't think we'll get 3 or 4. And they go, well, if we only get 2, and he's like, God, we're setting our stall out early doors that we're settling for, half of what we need. I think he's making a dig. And I sat there late last week talking about he has made a dig in so many press conferences recently, and I've not clocked them. And then in turn, you can see it even now with the players. The players are now making digs. I'm just saying, when you see something, take a couple of seconds just to really think about it. Don't react, just take a couple of seconds to really think about it. Because I've been just reacting to things recently. And actually, when I think about it the day or two after, I'm like, no, I've missed that. I've missed this and I missed that. I think I've been missing all of these very subtle digs under his breath in a way against the higher-ups, Johan Lang and Levy and all those people. And I really think with what he said about Reguilon, what he said about Spence, what he said about this squad, it has only been echoed recently. It's been echoed today by basically Romero. I can totally see multiple of those. I mean, you think Sonny's not going to be happy. Sonny's probably just a bit sort of numb to it now, so he's been there for so long. But Romero's probably going, hang on a second, I go to Argentina international duty. We're World Cup winners. We've won the Copa America twice. I play with some really good players. Some of them aren't even that great, but I play some good players. I come out to Spurs, and we talked about as a top 6 club. We talked about how much money we make, and we talk about all these great things, the balance sheets, all the X, Y, and Z. And he's sort of looking around going, well, I like Mickey, you know, and I quite like, he probably does like Porro. He's like, I like Vic. Sonny's good. Destiny's all right. He's like, but hang on a second, I'm missing this because there's not enough players that Romero must look at and go, I like him. I'd pass him the ball. You see it. He and Emerson Royale like best mates. He didn't want to pass Emerson the ball ever because he was like, he's just not great with the ball. You know? Richie needs to go now. I'm actually a fan, but we need healthy bodies. I agree, Sonia. The Glazers are the worst example. That's my point. Just bringing in players for the sake of making fans happy is not a good strategy. No, I know. But what I'm saying is, Toby, is doing what we've done for so long obviously hasn't worked, right? Definition of sanity, all those things. You negotiating for a player, let's say really early January, and dragging it 3 weeks to see if you can save 500k isn't worth it. It isn't. And that's what I'm saying. You could say, you know, oh, it's going to cost an extra 2 million, right? If you get him now in, like, let's say the 7th of Jan compared to the end of Jan, sometimes you go, actually, we could be out of a competition or two in that time. That's a lot more revenue. Even one home game in an extra FA Cup game, right? Just one more will give crazy money compared to haggling over $1 million. We know about a Premier League game. It makes like 6 million a go, doesn't it? A Premier League game is stupid. I think Lang and Ange need to put heads together, and Levy needs to do all he can to get whoever would start him. Well, but I don't think he will. Look, I'm going to be realistic and say we sign 2 players, we spend about 30 million, and that'll be that. 30, maybe 35, maximum 40, right? Let's even say 40. I'm going to be really nice to say 40. We're not spending big money. We're not spending 100 odd million in January. We get 2 players. I think we get a left back, and I hope and pray it's Patrick Dorgu, but I think we get a left back and either a keeper or a centre back. And I could even see them signing a centre back on loan for 6 months. That wouldn't shock me in the slightest. Wouldn't shock me in the slightest. Someone needs to show Levy how FIFA are supposed to be played. Hey, get me an ultimate team with him. I'll show him how it's done. All right. Hey, Kiwi Spurs TV. Now, are you a Kiwi Spurs TV, or is your name deceiving? Let's have a look. Because I am now keen to see. Let's go to the channel. Sorry, 1 minute. Oh, he's a liar. There's no TV on there. Kiwi Spurs TV. Start uploading some videos. I want to see it as being a TV. I've said before, better players demand higher wages. Levy cut 30 million to show how good Spurs look in terms of investment, and so far, no investment. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's the better the balance sheets look, the more you can demand on the investment side of things. Hence why I think the investment talks with certain people have cooled. I think Staveley's cooled. Absolutely. You're a fraud, absolute fraud, mate. Start uploading some videos. The channel wants to see what you're talking about. Are you a happy clapper like me, or you're a misery guts like other people? We want to know where you are. I'm not a happy clapper, by the way. That was the mocking. They demand 40 to 50 million for Doggy. That's the budget going on one player. I don't think even in their wildest dreams they'd make 40 to 50 million on him. But I get why they set the demands out so high. You always do. This is what you're going to get for him. I'm going to set my demands here. You're going to be here, and we're going to work there. It's normally how it works in negotiations. But look, in my opinion, the way I look at it, January needs to be a month where we need to just be smarter when it comes to just move Reguilon. He takes a squad spot up for no reason. He doesn't play. We're carrying him. At the moment, we're carrying Richarlison with an injury. Mikey Moore, I'm not going to, batter him. He's going to be out. He's going to be missing, a couple of months even. Wilson Odebear's missing time. Timo's missed time. Sonny's missed time. Solanke's missed a game or two. We can't be carrying more players when we already are struggling in terms of squad bodies. With the left back, it's like, we have Destiny Doggy. And the backup left back is Archie Gray, who's a central midfielder who can play right back. It's not even Jed Spence. Actually, I think the backup left back, do you know what? I think the backup left back isn't Archie Gray. I think it's Mickey van der Ven. And I think then Dragic comes in at centre back. And it's like, hang on, you're then playing your 3 centre backs when you've already got 3 centre backs. I don't even think Ben Davies is the backup left back. I really don't. I think it's Mickey van der Ven, which is a worry to me because I love Mickey. I think he's brilliant. And I watched Mickey against Chelsea. And I thought for his first game back in a little while, I thought he was good. We missed that pace. I mean, he was dealing with Nicholas Jackson's pace very well. I thought Dragic actually handled himself well when it came to the pace side of things. But that's a worry for me. Get a left back. Let Mickey play centre back or rest when he doesn't need to play. Get a left back. I tell you what, if you have Desi Doggy that rests and plays one game a week like he did last season, you see Desi Doggy from last season. Because we see it flashes here and there. And then I think he's knackered. I think some of these players are just genuinely knackered. And that's why I don't think we're going to fix all the issues. But I think Bentancur coming back. We'll obviously see. I don't know what's happening with his appeal, but Bentancur will be back Boxing Day, right? Officially, all games done. Now, obviously, yeah, he'll play against Rangers on Thursday. I don't think that's a shock. But I tell you what, Bentancur better come back with an absolute fire in his belly, absolutely at it. Because we need that Bentancur back. That Bentancur that was absolutely rocking this season, we need that back. And we need it on Thursday against Rangers. He needs to be up for it. He needs to be scrapping. And I think he was a little bit maybe too much against Roma. He needs to kind of just neck it in, just wind his neck in about 10%. And then he's absolutely money at that period, Obviously, let's see what happens with Mikey when he's back. I don't see him being gone for too much longer, but it's another body off the bench. And even though he is such a young kid, it's another body, Striker, bloody hell, we need a striker. Son is our backup striker at the moment. Richarlison should be, and then it should be Lancashire, but it's Son at the moment, David, the striker will be my priority. I'll be interested to know what they do with David. Do you know, if they said, we're going to sign a striker, we've signed Jonathan David, he's coming in the summer, I'd go, well, I wouldn't mind him now, but do you know what? You've signed him for the summer. We've got 2 strikers next season where I actually have a bit of confidence in. No offense to Richie. Just my general thoughts now. I don't hate that. And they go, but he's signed for the summer. We're working on the January, though. I would be like, all right. Forward thinking as well as now. That's the balance that we've always wanted and we've never had. Gray's no defender. You can play a bit of right back, Michael. Played a lot there for Leeds last year. Tap up Cardoso early, maybe. I like Cardoso, Mark, but I think it'll be the summer when he's in. But again, I like the look of him, but we need to be patient with him, Left back, centre back, and a winger in January. That would be lovely, Harper. Be lovely. Should Spurs invest in coaching medical staff? They've changed their medical staff, apparently. But coaching-wise, they invested in their coaching team in the summer. If you're a religious person, can you please pray that somehow we get Zubimendi? There's a lot of good talent in that Spanish league. Zubimendi, Sanset, that's another couple in there. I'm a religious person. There's nothing here to back me up, but I am. I'm a Catholic, one of those ones. Rangers will be another hard watch as Ange will play the kids. We may end up with another draw. Peanut, interesting. Teddy, how are you, mate? On the Rangers game, I'll be talking about it tomorrow. I just said, look, if you win that game, regardless of performance, that will clear up a lot of issues. I mean, you still get people complaining, oh, why didn't we not play this team? And why did we not win 27-0? But I think when it comes to that game, just win. Just win. You know what I mean? What do I think about Semenyo? I like Semenyo. I do. He's been very good for Bournemouth this year. But then it will be the issue that we will have. Shopping from Bournemouth again. Shopping from a lower league side in the Premier League. Not shopping from the big boys. So you can't win. I like him, but you can't win. Just get Dorga if he comes. I'm okay with no other players. We still need other players, Teddy. Let's not sell ourselves short there, my friends. Let's not be crazy, Ted. All right. But look, really interesting stuff about the January transfer window. I'm interested to see the plans in place. Obviously, only 3 weeks away. They've got to be at it early doors. Let's not leave us till the 27th to 28th January to make a signing. We need to be at it, and I'm sure they are. I'm going to put faith in Johan Lang that this is his first true January, where he's had a lot of time to get into it. Obviously, last January, he didn't have that runway that he has in this January. I expect this January to be a much better January than last year. Last year, with Dragic and Timo Werner on loan. And he got Timo done mid-January, so I'm not surprised if he gets someone in mid-January. But it's important. The fact that Ange has got backing, absolutely, and the fact that the squad is not turning on Ange. They truly believe in Ange, but actually the squad is somewhat turning on the guy that pays their wages because then he's not doing his job. I like that. I like that from the squad. I like that energy. Just need to keep up now. Hopefully the ball will back Ange in January with at least 2 really quality signings. Otherwise, they have to spend some money. Otherwise, nothing will change. Spurs fans are meltdown again. Never seems to end, does it? Nah, not at all. Nick Nack. God, Nick Nack's great crisps they are. Recently seen a Johnson hate video, and I just thought if Johnson would be, for example, at Wolves, he'd have like 10 goals, would be linked to our fans, would go crazy. Yeah. The issue is the transfer fee with Johnson. If we bought him 20 million, people would be like, oh, it's a decent little deal that, but it's because it's 47. There's the issue. I feel like Levy might just be starting to feel the heat. The thing is with me, I will, even if January is a good window, I'll say, well done for a good January. You're only covering your tracks a little bit for the summer. Next summer, we need a massive summer. So you'll only get kudos for that one window. Won't be getting kudos elsewhere. Spending money isn't going to help if Ange is the problem. I don't think Ange is the problem. I'll be happy with loans if we can't bring forward purchases from the summer for long-term purchases. Well, as long as the loans are quality loans. Let's not just do loans for the sake of saving a few quid. Is it just me or was Palmer almost invisible yesterday? He was for a little while, but then turned up, score. Turn up the score. So I've done that. Give me Cunha ball. I do like Cunha, but he's going to cost an absolute bloody fortune. And you're not going to get him in January when Wolves are struggling already. I don't see any haters because of his fee. I'm just saying that's the underlying issues. That's the thing I was saying, Days. They're underlying issues. I can hear church bells ringing. Peter, stop it, you. I think Chelsea scored more Premier League goals than Spurs this season. Can't really fault the attack. Well, we're still actually the top 6 defensively. And I think we're like we got better defense than Man City, who has spent 700 billion on their defense. So it is what it is. We're in a bit of pickle as a club, aren't we? We shouldn't be. We shouldn't be. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. Go and enjoy whatever it is you're doing today. Go and enjoy it. Kick your feet up. You know, it's raining outside here in England. It's crap. So if you're on the other side of the world or somewhere else in the world, enjoy what I hope is good weather. Take care, everyone. And I'll speak to you all tomorrow when I do my preview and the loan roundup. Take care. Peace.